I wasn't sure what to talk about in this video, but then I got inspired by Charleston White. I was listening to an interview by him, and in the interview, he was talking about a person who's been to prison or been to jail has a lot to talk about on social media because people are curious what it's like to go to prison or go to jail and then come back on the outside world and like have stories to tell and shit like that. And I went to prison. I went to jail and I went to boot camp. Now I was only in the transferring part of prison. I went to Stateville prison. I was there for 3 months while I waited to get transferred to Pinckneyville down South Illinois, where they were going to transfer me to boot camp. So I have some experience with being in prison, but it was just a little bit different for me because I was going into the boot camp program. I got lucky because I had a lawyer, and the judge let me do 4 months of the Impact Incarceration boot camp program, which is a blessing. It wasn't easy. Honestly, most people that have been to boot camp and prison will tell you that it's easier to go to prison than it is to go to boot camp. Because in prison, while it does suck and you're there for a longer period of time, being in boot camp, that you're working all the time. You're always on your feet. You have to do what they tell you to do when they tell you to do it. You brush your teeth when they tell you to brush it. You brush your teeth for how long they tell you to brush it. Your uniform has to be to the T. You have to say yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am. Every time you walk by a person, you must say excuse me sir, excuse me ma'am, excuse me. You have to eat your food in 5 minutes, and you have to do physical activity 3 times a day. You have to work out 3 times a day at the ass crack of dawn. You got to wake up at about 5 o'clock in the morning, make your bed up in less than 30 seconds, get your clothes on, boots, everything, and be ready to go work out within like 2 minutes. And yeah, and I ain't gonna lie, the first week is the hardest part of the whole experience. The first week of me being in boot camp was like one of the most difficult things I've ever had to do in my whole life, because it's an adjustment period. You start off as what they call a ghost. They call you a ghost because pretty much everybody in the boot camp facility ignores you. They call you a ghost because you don't exist to them. You're the smallest of the small. You're the maggot. And they even the reason they call you ghost is because you wear all white too. You wear a white jumpsuit. Everybody else has on these little striped pants with like an orange like reflective shirt. You have to earn that. And it's like psychological. It like makes you want to move up and earn your blues is what they call them. But yeah, so let me just give you a little background on why I went to prison. I went to jail because I got convicted of selling ecstasy in 2018. I fought the case for 2 years, and then in 2020 I was convicted and I was sent to DuPage County, and then sent to Stateville, and then sent to Pinckneyville, and then from Pinckneyville I went to boot camp. But and let me tell you, bro, going to prison is the worst experience I've ever had in my entire life. And it's not for the reasons you might think. Like, I didn't have any problems with people like trying to punk me or trying to beat my ass or anything like that. I had to deal with no shit like that or anything. But it's the mental toll it takes on you. Not being able to see your family for that long. And I had a girlfriend at the time, so you can only imagine what was going through my mind, not being able to talk to her. And the worst part about it was, when I got locked up, the girl I was with at the time, she cried and all this shit before I left. She was like, oh, what am I gonna do without you? Like, she was so lost, apparently, without me. But as soon as I was able to like get to a place where I could call and have to get on the phone, I called her and she didn't pick up. She stopped picking up. Wouldn't answer none of my calls, bro. I would go to bed at night. I would go to sleep at night, every night, crying, just praying that she would answer the phone just for a second, just so I can know that not just because I wanted to like talk to her and tell her about my problems, but just because I just wanted to know if she was okay. I had no idea what was going on. I hadn't talked to nobody in the outside world. And so for her to just like ignore my calls like that, man, it hurt so deep. It hit me so deeply, bro. I never felt pain like that in my entire life. But eventually when I got to boot camp, she did pick up the phone. And she gave me the stupidest shit I've ever heard in my life. She told me that the reason she didn't answer the phone was because she went through my phone while I was locked up and saw that I was messaging some girl. Just the most bullshit excuse ever. What I looked at it was she was looking at my phone to find any excuse to not be with me because she couldn't handle the stress of not having me out in the world with her, and her have to be on her own. But she wasn't real enough to just tell me this, and so she decided to, just ghost me and blame me for it. And then not only that, she got chlamydia and blamed me for it. And I got tested while I was in boot camp because I was like, damn, did I really give her chlamydia? I got tested by the doctors at boot camp. I had to put in a request and everything. It was a whole big thing. I got tested, no chlamydia, none at all. No type of STDs at all. So she got it from fucking around while I was locked up. I was devastated. And I even asked the lady that gave me the test, I was like, is there any possibility that she could have got it from somewhere else? And she's like, no. She's like, the girl you're involved with is lying to you. She's been sleeping around. Like, she just said it matter of fact like that. Like, there was no doubt in her mind. And it just goes to show you, bro, people will bend over backwards to find an excuse to do you dirty, bro. When you go to jail, when you go away from it, out of sight, out of mind, bro. That's the realest shit ever. It's out of sight, out of mind. If you're not there in someone's presence immediately every day for them to see you, they forget about you. Even your family. You would think people would care so much about you because you're gone and you were in their life, but no. When people don't see you anymore, bro, it's like you don't exist. And that's the hardest realization to have when you're being locked up. Luckily, I wasn't locked up for any longer than 6 months. So I can only imagine what it would be like for someone locked up for years. But even them 6 months, when I came out, the world was completely different in my opinion. Because you gotta think of the timing of me getting locked up. I got locked up in 2020. What happened around that time? COVID. Yeah, I got locked up right when I was in boot camp right when COVID started. And honestly, it was kind of a blessing because of COVID, they weren't allowed to treat us. They weren't allowed to do the same type of punishments that they were allowed to before COVID times because of social distancing and stuff like that. They couldn't punish us the same way. So we still had to work out and stuff, but it wasn't as intense as it could have been. So I kind of got blessed. But overall, though, what's crazy about boot camp, bro, is I made a lot of friends in there, and I thought we would be friends to this day, but that's it's in a bubble. The friends you make in that type of situation are just your friends in that moment. I don't talk to anybody outside of boot camp anymore. It's just how it is, and nothing against them, but it's just that we were friends of a struggle, And I wouldn't take back anything from that time period, bro. I don't regret anything. I learned so much about myself. I learned how to push myself. I learned that I can take a lot of bullshit, and it kind of weathers you for reality. When you get out, you can handle anything. I can go to a job and I can deal with the most annoying bosses in the world because they're nothing compared to my drill sergeants. Not even close. They're nothing compared to the officers that was at boot camp. I learned so much. I learned so much about how far I could push my body. I just learned that there's nothing more precious than your freedom. So for anybody that's watching this video, if you take one thing from this video, take that, bro, don't even steal a piece of gum. Don't ever do anything to risk your freedom. It's not worth it. There's nothing glamorous about being locked up. It's literally the worst experience I've had in my whole life, man. When I was in Stateville, bro, my cell, I was sharing a cell with a heroin addict with no teeth. He was cool, mind you. He wasn't no problem or anything, but he had no teeth. The dude his skin was peeling off. He would always scratch his head and just dead skin cells would fall everywhere. He was disgusting, bro. He couldn't even eat food without dipping it in water first because he had no teeth. And bro, he had the most disgusting stories to tell me too about being a heroin addict. I ain't gonna lie, he part of the reason why I kept my sanity though, because I would just have this dude tell me stories all day long and that would just keep me going. But yeah, so yeah, shout out to Charles White for giving me an idea for a video, because I was trying to think of a topic for today, because in my videos I've been wanting to talk about work every day, but I'm off today. So I just couldn't think of anything that I could talk about on my off day. But shout out to Charleston White, because he made me realize that I got a wealth of experience to talk about. I've been to prison. Not for long. Like I said, I only been to I was only in Stateville for 3 months, and I only was in Pinckneyville for a week. But I still been, and I still experienced it, and I still have a story to tell, because I was on that long ass bus ride down south to Illinois, and it felt like, you know what it reminded me? It gave me like it was like the modern day slave trade. That's what it feels like going to prison in the south part of Illinois. The way the officers treat you is like how you would expect like a plantation owner to treat a slave. They don't want you to talk. You're not supposed to look at them or anything. The way they treat you is very, very, very racist, bro. And the way they have us walking around, it just gives you the imagery of slavery. Like, it's really bad. And I feel like being in prison, you see a side of America that you don't see, that they don't show in the public. The conditions are terrible, bro. Like to be real with you, the first time I went to jail, I shit on myself. I know that sounds disgusting, but that really happened to me. Like, and I just had to sit in it, because this is how disgusting the situation is. Like, and when you're in prison, bro, they treat you worse than a dog. They really do. The food they give you, well, when you actually get to prison, the food is a little bit better than what it is. And like jail food is the fucking worst. But prison food is a little bit better. It's a little bit more manageable. And boot camp food is the best. And boot camp, that's one thing about boot camp. They will feed you good, bro. You have to eat fast, mind you, but they will feed you good as fuck. Like, the food you get, man, it's low key. I miss some of that shit. Like, we used to get oatmeal, mashed potatoes, cheeseburgers, macaroni and cheese, pizza, all type of shit, bro. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I can't think of any like crazy stories off the top of my head, but like, I know that like there was in Stateville, when I was like, I remember I seen like there's people who used to take little pieces of string and catch the mice in their cell and then keep them as pets, bro. Niggas was really doing that. Oh, and bro, people don't even tell you, bro, when you at Stateville, bro, you only get to shower once every few days. They don't let you shower every day. It's fucked up. And the shower is only one temperature, hot as fuck. Like, burn your back off hot. Like, you can't really stand in the shower. You have to like let the water splash in your hands and splash it on you, because it's just too fucking hot. Man, I'm telling you, bro, I'm so happy to be free. Like, I've been out of jail for 5 years now, it's been, and I will never go back. I will never do anything to put myself in that position again, bro. It just was so terrible. But yeah, but luckily I didn't have to spend like any prison experiences like other people have, you know. Like, I wasn't like, you know, I wasn't in the feds. I wasn't like locked up for no violent shit, and I wasn't with no violent people. Luckily, I got really blessed with my situation. Like I said, I had a decent lawyer, and they were trying to give me, I had a Class X felony. They were trying to give me 4 years. They were trying to give me 4 years. But I decided to not, but they didn't though. They didn't. I got lucky. They gave me 4 months of boot camp. I had like a few months to prepare, and then I was sent off right after my birthday. But yeah, it's over with now. And honestly, it's crazy, because like in the moment, it felt like it was taking forever. But now when I look back, it was just a blink it was just a blink, bro. It happened so fast, and it was over so quickly. But yeah, that's all I gotta really go for. That's all I really got to say for today, really. Right now, go right now at least. Right now, I'm on my way to the bank to get some money to give to my girlfriend, and then I'm finna head to the dispensary, because I do that every few days. I gotta go to the dispensary and re-up. But yeah, man. The prison's no fun, jail's no fun, boot camp's no fun. So stay out of trouble, man. Just, it's not worth it. Anything you're doing illegal and you haven't got caught for it yet, just wait. It's gonna happen. Like, it might not happen it might not happen for years. You might be good for years, but it's gonna happen when you least expect it, bro. It's gonna happen in the most inconvenient time too. So I'm just glad it happened to me at an early age, and I learned my lesson, and I can move on from that now, and I can return to society in a more social form, you know. So, but yeah, now I feel like, you know, now I got like an experience to like that I can always pull from in order to make decisions in the future. Like, I always can look back at that moment and be like, okay, yeah, I don't ever want to go back to that anymore. and it helps me like make good decisions in the future. So yeah, So like, yeah, once again, shout out to Charleston White, bro. I love his content. I think he's just like even though he says some crazy ass ignorant shit sometimes, like I feel like 90% of what he says has some truth to it. And if you really just listen to the man, he got a lot of wisdom in him. So yeah, shout out to him for this idea for a video. You know, hopefully I'll think of something, you know, a little different tomorrow. I don't want to talk about prison every day. I don't want to make this a channel about talking about my brief period being locked up. But I thought it'd be interesting to talk about that on camera, because I've never really talked about this on the internet before. You know, people that know me know about that, but I really haven't really talked about it. And there's more stories to tell. I just can't think of anything off the top of my head. So if you are curious about my life and you curious about what I've been through and just leave some questions in the comment section, whatever, I'll answer it. I don't care. I'm trying to get more comfortable talking on camera about whatever and just existing with no cuts, no editing or anything like that. Just raw, real, just me driving, talking. So I appreciate you if you watched this long, just me rambling about my life and shit. If you watched this and you got something from this, then I appreciate it if you like it. So, or subscribe and comment, share it to whoever you want. But I appreciate you for watching. I need to focus on what I'm doing now. I'll see you later. Stay blessed. Thank you.